And pride he was. Hi, I'm Kevin. This is YQ. My nuts are perfectly over this X. Thomas, you know what I love about the internet?
What do you love about the internet?
You can find out all the information. You know what I hate about the internet?
What do you hate about the internet?
Most of the information is wrong and it sucks and people are dumb and they just believe it. You know, that's a quote from Abraham Lincoln in 1985. Why we don't stake the castle nuts. Castle nut, you know, the little nut on your AR-15 that holds the receiver extension or buffer tube or your stock to the gun. Why we don't stake them. It's a good one and it's important. Staking them, is it bad? It's not bad. It's not bad. But we're gonna go over why it's also maybe not good and why we think we have a better solution. Believe me, don't do the testing that we did to confirm it. It's up to you. Or just, you know, be 19 living with your mom and talk shit like you know everything on the internet. Or the internet. Now I sound like a really old man. Internet. We're going to the Kroger's. So why we don't? Engineering and testing. Actually, engineering and testing. So, we're not opposed to staking. Let me just explain myself. You can stake them, but how do you control the staking? And how well does it hold it on? And what are you really relying on? What you want to rely on is that thread and torque. That's what you want to rely on. The staking is just to make sure it doesn't come loose. But how do you control the amount of staking? How do you do that? Oh, Jim Bob's staking them by hand every day because that's the way most people do it. You're going to say, well, you stake your carrier keys on your bolt carrier. We do. And you know what we do? The problems with staking your castle nut. Here's the problem. You're not opposing like you are with a carrier key. You're staking here, you're staking here, you're staking here. All right? How much force do you need? Because what you really need to do is misplace some of that material. All right? So some of that steel you need to misplace into the notches, into your castle nut. So your little, what do you call that piece? Your plate? So you're punching steel with a hammer and hoping to misplace some of that material in the little notches into your castle nut. How do you know how much pressure it takes? What if you have to hit it twice and you complain about the way it looks because your buddies has just hit one time? How do you know how much force to deliver to misplace that steel? And how do you do it consistently? Just by hitting it with your hand? No, that's dumb. So you need to figure out how much force it takes. Then you need to build a machine that does it automatically exactly every time. That's what we did with the carrier keys, and that's easy for a couple of reasons. So it's just difficult to be consistent staking your castle nut. But you know what we do? We torque the hell out of it and we use Loctite. All right? Your receiver extension doesn't get hot, so Loctite will hold up forever. And also, we can measure the torque that we use every single time consistently. And why don't people do this? Because when people torque it as much as we do, their receiver extension is crooked. It's crooked every time. They can't keep it centered because so much torque turns your receiver extension. So we realized this, and what we did was built a fixture that holds the receiver and the receiver extension in place. So we can torque it as hard as we want. The receiver extension will never move. And that's what we do. Every one of our AR-based guns gets placed in this fixture and then it's torqued with the receiver extension in place so it doesn't move. So it always stays straight. That's the way to do it. So all you other manufacturers, do it like that. Use Loctite. Torque it into place. It's going to be more consistent and hold it more reliably than staking. All right? Staking without the Loctite and the torque is bullshit. And if you don't stake and you don't measure the torque every time and you don't use Loctite and you don't use a fixture to hold the receiver extension and the receiver at the same time, also bullshit. This is the best way to do it. It would probably be easier for me to stake them, but it would be less consistent. And you know how many AR-based guns we've had returned, RMA'd, an email about because the receiver extension came loose from the factory? Zero. Goose egg. None. Nada. So you tell me, why would we stake them? Answer me that. All right, do your own little video. Put that up there. Staking it requires automation for consistent, proper stakeability. So you have to design and build a fixture, an automatic apparatus that will do it consistently. If you're not going to do that, don't stake them.
Is stakeability a word?
Shut up, Tom. So what works consistently? All right, some torque and some Loctite and a proper damn fixture. That's what works. Trust me or don't. But see if it comes loose. Bet it doesn't. So I see some of the comments on videos that we do or others do or in your little forums, and you'll say that we don't stake because we're lazy. No, quite the opposite. It wasn't lazy to do all the testing, figure out the best thing to do, then build the fixture. All right, how do we establish the torque value? All right, we tested it. That's what we did. How did we decide to use Loctite and which one? We tested it. How did we decide we could do it? All right, we decided we couldn't without a fixture to hold it straight, so we designed and built a fixture. There's no turning back, people. Just get on the train. Cool. Like we said, a bunch of people, you don't stake and you torque it, it's crooked. We fixed that. Fixture, here's what I was talking about, the top one, all right? This is the screw in your gas key on your bolt carrier. So you go in from this way and you go in from this way, so they're opposing. Both of these pieces are steel. It takes a lot of force to stake them reliably, all right? And why don't we use Loctite if Loctite works on the receiver extension? Well, your carrier key gets real freaking hot, so the Loctite ain't gonna work. So we can use it on the receiver extension. We can't use it here, but we can use it here. So these are opposing. So we have an automated machine that crushes this and misplaces this steel and this. You're never unscrewing that thing. It's never gonna come loose. This is a proper way to stake. This, your receiver extension, all right, they're not opposing, and they're aluminum. It's steel and aluminum. Your receiver extension is aluminum, your castle nut's steel, generally. And generally, the plate that holds everything on is steel. I don't know, the plate that holds everything on? I don't remember the name of this stupid thing. Anyway, so getting consistent enough stakeability, it's just difficult. And it would be another whole machine. But what we found was we can torque them with Loctite in a way they don't ever come loose. It's the best way to do it. It's gonna be more consistent. Like we said, steel, aluminum, steel, aluminum. Although you might think this is controversial, not staking the receiver extension, we can explain it. Just ask the question. Don't say that we're lazy. Don't think someone that stakes it's right. And I guarantee you the variance in someone staking them is all over the place. Torque and Loctite, it's the best. And that's why.